We're counting down the 10 Arizona cities where home prices are so low, you might wonder if it's all too good to be true. From desert towns where you can still find a house under $120,000, to metro fringe neighborhoods with shockingly cheap listings, and even rural spots with prices that rival fixer-uppers. Each entry on this list has earned its place for offering below-market bargains that come with big questions. We'll break down why these prices stay so low, the real-life trade-offs buyers face, and whether these deals are hidden gems or financial traps. Ready to see where affordability starts and just how unbelievable it gets? Let's begin with number 10. In the 10th place, Tucson stands out as Arizona's most affordable large metro area, with a median home price around $324,000, well below the state average of $447,000. The city's housing market offers buyers a rare chance to find urban amenities at a lower cost, from established neighborhoods near the university to more affordable options on the south side. But Tucson's prices stay low for a reason. The city's job growth has lagged behind Phoenix and other western metros, with fewer high-paying employers moving in and a slower influx of new, high-income residents. Many entry-level homes, especially in older neighborhoods, often need major repairs or updates, and buyers relying on FHA or VA loans can hit a wall. These properties sometimes fail appraisals or lack comparable sales, making traditional financing tough. One family who relocated from Phoenix for a fresh start found themselves facing a tough job hunt and unexpected repair bills on a South Side home that seemed like a bargain at first glance. Tucson's affordability is real, but the trade-offs, slower economic growth and hidden home costs, mean buyers need to look beyond the listing price. Number 9, Yuma posts some of Arizona's lowest big city home prices, with the median hovering around $256,000 and entry-level listings dipping below $200,000 in nearby Somerton and San Luis. At first glance, the affordability seems unbeatable, but the real story runs deeper. Yuma's economy leans heavily on agriculture and seasonal work, which keeps demand, and prices suppressed outside the busy winter months. The climate is unforgiving, with summer temperatures regularly soaring past 115 degrees, pushing up electric bills and straining older air conditioning systems. Infrastructure can be an unexpected hurdle for newcomers. Many homes in unincorporated areas rely on septic systems, and replacement or major repairs can run between $8,000 and $15,000, costs that often catch buyers off guard. County permits and inspections add another layer of expense, and some lenders refuse to finance homes with aging systems. Longtime residents describe a tug-of-war each winter as snowbirds arrive, crowding services and driving up prices for a few months, only to vanish by spring. For buyers, Yuma's rock-bottom prices come bundled with climate extremes and infrastructure risks that can quickly erode any savings. 8th place, Casa Grande sits squarely between Phoenix and Tucson, offering a median home price just under $322,000, far below both neighboring metros. For years, buyers flocked here for affordable new builds and a manageable commute. But in July 2023, the Arizona Department of Water Resources slammed the brakes on that growth, freezing new groundwater-dependent permits across Pinal County. Suddenly, dozens of planned developments were halted in their tracks. Builders laid off crews, investors watched as land values plummeted, and lawsuits piled up from those holding now unusable lots. The moratorium sent shockwaves through the market, making cheap land a risky gamble overnight. Casa Grande's location still tempts commuters and investors hoping for future upside, but the uncertainty around water access now overshadows any bargain. A local teacher who endures a 90-minute drive each way for Phoenix wages summed up the dilemma. The savings on a home are real, but every morning in traffic is a reminder that policy can turn a deal into a dead end. Number 7, Douglas sits just north of the border where home prices can look almost unreal. In 2025, MLS listings in Douglas regularly show houses changing hands for $80,000 to $120,000, sometimes less than the cost of a new pickup truck. For buyers, that price tag is a shock, but it comes with serious trade-offs. Douglas has watched its population shrink as jobs vanish, with only a handful of major employers left in town. Out-migration is a constant, and those who stay face a tough job market, frequent turnover, and long stretches of unemployment. The city's budget gaps show up in neglected roads, aging water lines, and police stretched thin. Property crime rates here are among the highest in southern Arizona. One family who bought a house for just under $100,000 found their first year filled with unexpected costs. Replacing a failed HVAC system, patching a leaky roof, and dealing with break-ins that left them questioning whether the low price was worth it. Douglas offers some of the lowest entry points for homeownership in the state, but the risk of hidden costs and limited upward mobility means buyers need to look well beyond the listing price. Number 6. Eloy draws attention with some of the lowest sticker prices in Arizona. Median home values hover just above $300,000, and undeveloped parcels often list for much less. But beneath those tempting numbers, a different kind of expense lurks. Many lots in Eloy are sold without basic utility hookups, and bringing in water, sewer, or electricity after closing can trigger a wave of unexpected bills. Recent buyers report utility connection fees ranging from $25,000 to $40,000, sometimes nearly doubling their total investment before they even break ground. City fee schedules confirm these costs, especially for parcels located farther from existing infrastructure. One new homeowner described the shock of buying a cheap lot, only to discover the water hookup alone would cost more than the land itself. That capital outlay wasn't disclosed up front, buried in paperwork until after closing day. For anyone eyeing Eloy's low prices, the real test comes after the sale, when the true cost of making a property livable suddenly appears. In this corner of Arizona, the bargain is real, but so is the risk of being blindsided by infrastructure bills that can erase every bit of savings. Number 5. Sierra Vista draws buyers with its rare mix of affordability and stability, anchored by the presence of Fort Huachuca. The military base keeps demand steady, and the median home price hovers around $310,000, making it a go-to for veterans and government workers looking for a manageable mortgage. But the sense of security can vanish with one summer storm. In July 2024, a flash flood swept through older neighborhoods like Garden Canyon and the West End, leaving dozens of homes underwater. Local insurance agents and emergency officials estimate that nearly 27% of flood insurance claims from the event were denied, often because policies had lapsed or carried hidden exclusions. For those left uncovered, the average out-of-pocket repair bill reached $18,000, a financial blow that caught many off guard. One veteran's family, newly relocated for a base assignment, was stunned to learn how little coverage their basic policy provided. They moved for the promise of affordable living, only to face unexpected costs that nearly matched their down payment. Sierra Vista's low prices and stable employment base make it look like a safe bet, but the reality of climate risk and insurance loopholes means that a bargain here can quickly turn into a costly surprise. Number 4. Buckeye offers a striking case of affordability on the edge of the Phoenix metro, with pockets where homes still list below $250,000, an outlier for such a fast-growing region. But beneath the surface, the market is shifting in ways that raise new risks for buyers and renters alike. Since 2022, institutional investors have targeted Buckeye's lower-priced homes, snapping up hundreds of single-family properties in quick succession. Public records show a surge in deed filings linked to major landlord groups, fueling a wave of rental conversions and putting pressure on local housing costs. In neighborhoods where these purchases concentrated, rents jumped by double digits in just 1 year, with some tracking a 14% spike for investor-owned homes. Eviction filings also climbed sharply between 2023 and 2024, as tenants struggled to keep up with rising payments. One early buyer who hoped to ride Buckeye's growth described watching their block transform almost overnight as for sale signs turned into rental banners and new neighbors cycled in and out. The promise of cheap homeownership here comes with an asterisk. Investor activity can flip affordability into rent inflation or displacement, and long commutes to Phoenix only add to the burden. Buckeye's deals are real, but in a market shaped by outside money, today's bargain can quickly become tomorrow's rent trap. Number 3, Coolidge offers homebuyers a striking sticker price. Many houses list for less than $300,000, even as Arizona's statewide median soars above $440,000. At first glance, the savings look like a windfall, luring families and first-time buyers eager to escape the cost pressures of Phoenix and Tucson. But the true cost of Coolidge's affordability often comes due not at closing, but every single day after. For most residents, the trade-off is measured in hours behind the wheel. Commute surveys show that a typical round trip to jobs in the Valley or Tucson can stretch to 2 hours or more, 5 days a week. That's time lost to traffic, gas burned on rural highways, and a growing sense of fatigue that creeps into family life. Local health clinics report a steady uptick in stress-related complaints from ex-urban commuters: insomnia, back pain, missed dinners with kids. While school districts note rising absentee rates among children whose parents leave before sunrise and return after dark. One Coolidge homeowner who moved from Mesa for a $90,000 savings on her mortgage describes the toll after just a year. "It's like we traded our weekends for a lower payment. I see my family less and I'm tired all the time. If I had known how much it would wear us down, I'm not sure I'd make the same choice." In Coolidge, the math on cheap housing only adds up if you're willing to pay with your time, your energy, and sometimes your health. Number 2, Avondale sits on the western fringe of Metro Phoenix, where the promise of affordable homeownership meets a risky kind of roulette. In 2025, buyers can find listings in Avondale's older neighborhoods for $225,000 or pay $385,000 just a block away. The spread isn't a typo. Local agents point to $160,000 swings between houses on the same street, driven by everything from the age of the build to proximity to busy arterials. Some blocks feature 1970s ranch homes with deferred maintenance, while others have newer infill or recent remodels that command a premium. This hyper-local volatility creates a market where appraisals fall through, and buyers relying on comps from one end of the street may find themselves underwater on the other. Veteran realtors warn that Avondale is a patchwork of micro-markets. A house on one side of the intersection can pass inspection and secure conventional financing, while a few doors down, a similar-looking home might be flagged for foundation issues or outdated systems, stalling deals or forcing cash-only sales. One recent buyer recounted being drawn in by a bargain-priced listing, only to discover after closing that the property's appraisal came in far below their offer, leaving them with instant negative equity. For those tempted by Avondale's proximity to Phoenix and eye-catching prices, the lesson is clear: due diligence is not optional. In this market, fortunes can shift block by block, and a bargain on paper can quickly turn into a costly mistake if you land on the wrong side of the street. And finally, in first place, Guadalupe defies every expectation about Metro Phoenix housing. Wedged between Tempe and South Phoenix, this tiny town posts a median home price around $279,000, a figure that feels almost fictional given its neighbors' sky-high values. The surprise isn't just the number, it's the paradox. Step across the city line from Tempe, and prices drop by 6 figures, yet you're still minutes from ASU and major freeways. Guadalupe's affordability seems too good to be true, but the reality is more complex than a simple bargain. Unlike its sprawling neighbors, Guadalupe is governed by its own council and preserves a distinct Yaqui and Pasca Yaqui cultural identity. That independence brings quirks few outsiders expect. Construction crews, for example, face strict ordinances limiting work hours, with permits required for anything noisy after 4 p.m., a rule that's caught more than one house flipper off guard. Retail options are limited, and city services operate on a scale that feels more like a village than a suburb. One Phoenix buyer, lured by the price and location, found himself navigating a maze of local rules, waiting days for a permit to fix a fence, then discovering that neighborhood events could close streets without warning. For those who crave community and tradition, Guadalupe offers a close-knit feel and a pace untouched by metro sprawl. But the same qualities that keep prices low can frustrate newcomers expecting big city convenience. In Guadalupe, the deal is real, but so are the trade-offs: a metro address with a small-town heart and a rulebook all its own. From big city Tucson's surprisingly low median home price to Guadalupe's too-good-to-be-true bargains right on the edge of Metro Phoenix, this countdown has exposed just how extreme Arizona's housing market can get. Across all 10 entries, a consistent pattern emerged. The cheapest cities almost always come with major trade-offs. Whether it's rural isolation, aging infrastructure, hidden utility or insurance costs, or unpredictable micromarkets where a single street can swing prices by $160,000. The most shocking finds weren't just the ultra-low prices in border towns like Douglas, but places like Avondale and Guadalupe, where proximity to high-demand metros doesn't guarantee a hassle-free bargain. Each city on this list qualified because its median, or a large share of homes, sat well below Arizona's statewide average, but the reasons ranged from economic stagnation and water supply limits to institutional investor impacts. The real takeaway: in Arizona, low home prices almost always signal a mix of opportunity and risk. Before chasing a deal that seems almost like a scam, know the factors that drive these prices. And remember, in housing, cheap rarely comes without a catch.